Thank you. New at 9, two people from Stoughton are dead after a crash in Illinois this morning. The Illinois Lake County Sheriff's Office says the crash happened around 8 o'clock. Deputies were called to a crash that involved 3 cars on Route 173 in Wadsworth, which is about 5 miles south of the Wisconsin border. Witnesses told deputies that the driver of a sedan that was heading east appeared to have trouble staying in his lane. That's when they said the driver drifted into the path of a semi-truck. The semi and the sedan crashed head-on. That crash caused a minivan to collide with the sedan. The woman driving the van from Salem, Wisconsin, she was taken to the hospital but is expected to be okay. Both the driver and the passenger of the sedan died at the scene. The driver of the semi was not hurt.